What's up, everybody? Comic Bay Chris right here. Okay. What's up, everybody? You know who I am. If you don't, okay. What's up, everybody? Chris here, and I want to talk to you guys about Maximum Carnage. What's up, everybody? Chris here, and today I want to talk to you guys about a comic series that is freaking awesome right now. They just came out with issue number 1, and it is Absolute Carnage. And wow, this single issue right here was freaking awesome, guys. If you guys are not reading anything by Donny Cates, which this is written by, you guys got to get on it. He's currently doing Venom. And the whole Venom run that him and Ryan Stegman are doing is leading up to this single issue right here. And there's going to be more to come. Absolute Carnage is, I can't describe it how good it was. This first issue I knew was going to be really great because I'm a big Donny Cates fan. I love his writing. But when this was actually in my hands and I got to read it, it was perfect. Before we talk about the little story inside this issue right now, also want to go over some of the other variants that I picked up. All right, so we got the standard cover right here that's done by Ryan Stegman, and it's just awesome how it looks with the reds and how Carnage just looks so freaking gnarly in that. It's really dope. All right, and then there's like about, I don't know, maybe almost 13 variants, but I didn't really have all the money to buy all of them. I could have made an attempt to, but I wasn't going to do that. But the second variant that I bought is from Art Germ. This nice little Carnage cover right there. Pretty sweet. I really like Art Germ's artwork, but like finally seeing him doing a symbiote, it's awesome stuff right there. So that's that right there. And then the third variant is the Codex variant by Adi Granoff right here. And I just love how that Venom looks right there on the cover. So I got the regular cover, and then I got the Art Germ cover. And Granoff is another favorite artist of mine. I got a Comic-Con exclusive variant for Venom number 1 that is signed by Donny Cates. I got to meet Donny Cates a couple years back. But yeah, I really love this Venom. And okay, so now that I'm done showing off all the covers, we're going to talk about the comic. All right, so after the War of the Realms event happened, Eddie Brock was left without a symbiote. So he picks up with him and his son Dylan, who Dylan doesn't know that Eddie is his father just yet. He just thinks Eddie is his brother. Sorry, I got to grab my douche flute. So it picks up. It's a rainy night, and Eddie suspects that they're being followed because, like, in the background, you can see a figure in a trench coat, and they're making their way down to the subway, thinking that they may have lost this person that's following them. And then right behind them, in the crowd of people in the subway, you see Cletus Cassidy. It's like, holy crap, Cletus found them. And it was one of those typical moments of he pushes both Eddie and Dylan onto the subway tracks. It was like, whoopsie daisy, one of those Cletus Cassidy moments. Pushes them, and then the actual figure that was chasing them, wasn't chasing them, but was following them. You see him running towards Eddie and Dylan, and it's actually Eddie's symbiote. The symbiote that just took off, just doing his own thing. He's back. He came back and he saves Eddie and Dylan. And so this big fight breaks out. Carnage reveals himself. He's like, "Hey, bitches, I'm alive," and he's just looking so badass with the new design. And so the symbiote bonds with Eddie, And that's when the fight begins. You know, Eddie and Carnage is just going at it, just bam, bam, bam. And Carnage right now is way powerful, so not many things is hurting them. So Eddie grabs the rail of the railroad, the electrified part, and grabs onto Carnage and just electrocutes him. All right, so they break free and they run off. All right, so Eddie and Dylan escape with the symbiote, and the symbiote is taking over Eddie because Eddie's like really messed up. He's hurt really bad, so he's piloting Eddie's body so Eddie can recover. And so Dylan and the symbiote and Eddie, who now wakes up, has to go to see someone. Eddie's like, I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. I need help. So they go to this apartment and they knock on the door, and it's Peter Parker's apartment, you know, good old Spider-Man, you know. And this next scene in the diner is just because Donny Cates' writing is freaking awesome. And when I see him take on other characters, I'm like, dude, I really want to see Donny Cates write Spider-Man, because the Peter Parker that's talking to Eddie while he's in Spider-Man costume is just like, dude, Donnie gets it. He's nailed the tone for Peter Parker and Eddie Brock as well. And so they're talking in the diner, and Spider-Man's just like, man, I really hate this symbiote stuff. And like, who doesn't, man? Because after a long time, it's just problems from that symbiote that Peter's always encountered. When the first time when him and Venom were going at it, like, Venom was trying to kill him for a long time, and then, oh, here comes Carnage now. Now Peter's got to deal with Venom and Carnage, but then they teamed up. They took Cletus down in the Maximum Carnage story arc. But that stuff was pretty sweet. But just the whole entire conversation, the dialogue exchange between Peter Parker as Spider-Man to Eddie Brock is just awesome. Donny Cates was really nailing right on the head with how Peter talks and acts. It was so good. I want to see Donny write Spider-Man. But during this time, Peter's asking Eddie, who's the kid? And Eddie's like, well, he's my son, but he doesn't know that yet. And Peter's like, dude, you can't let that happen. You have to tell him the truth, Eddie. He's got to know that you're his dad and stuff. And so on the news, so what Carnage is doing right now in Absolute Carnage, the main plot of the whole entire thing is that Carnage is going after everybody who has worn a symbiote. And inside the person, once they are separated from the symbiote leaves a bit of DNA in their codex. And so that's what Cletus is doing. He's going after everyone who had the symbiote. He's like ripping their spines out, and he's taking the codex. And every single time he gets like a previous symbiote wearer, he gets stronger. So once he gets them all, he can actually reconnect the signal to Null, the hive mind, basically, because Null is still entrapped in that planet of the symbiotes, Clentar, right? And which is actually, what Donny Cates retconned it, Clentar is actually a translation for cage. So a planet-sized cage to hold in Null, the god of the symbiotes. So that's why Carnage is going around doing all this stuff. But anyways, okay, so they find out there's a whole bunch of dead bodies found in the middle of a field with the spines ripped out, and they put it together that every single person is a person who had a symbiote, who wore the symbiote, who passed on. And Eddie starts freaking out because one of them was his ex, Annie, I think that was her name. And he's just messed up about it. He's getting really pissed off. And so Spider-Man's like, okay, let's we got to figure out how we can extract the codex before Carnage can, take it from anybody. So they suggest, hey, can Reed Richards do it? Well, yeah, Reed Richards can do anything. Reed Richards is like the smartest guy in Marvel universe, but Peter's like, look, he can do it, but we should have, he would need like a 30-day notice so he can build this machine. And then Eddie's like, well, I think I know a guy. I know a guy. So the scene changes and it's to another warehouse, and it's the maker, the kind of like the evil version of Reed Richards in the Ultimate universe. But the Tinkerer, they bring him, they bring this whole entire, what's going on to him, and Tinkerer's like, well, I got the machine, I'm pretty much done with it. And they're like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, hey man, we're doing all this stuff, and we want to be prepared. So I was already working on the thing. And so there you go, they got a machine, but now they need a test subject. So Peter brings his godson Normie, and you guys remember that the Spider-Man, the whole not Green Goblin, but the Red Goblin, in that storyline, Norman Osborn, and gave Normie Osborn the Carnage symbiote, so he has now a symbiote codex inside his DNA, and they don't want to test it on Normie because Normie is just a little kid, so that they don't know if it's gonna kill him. And so Peter and Eddie's like thinking like, okay, who's a big enough piece of shit that we can test this on just in case, and they go to where Norman Osborn is locked up. And at the prison or asylum, I forgot what the name of it was. I'm such a terrible comic fan. But we got John Jameson, Jonah's son, who is, a werewolf type of dude. And John Jameson is helping them, bypass security and stuff. And then all of a sudden he starts wigging out. And it turns out that John Jameson, he's already been affected because in the one-shot or annual, the Cult of Carnage, it explains why, because John Jameson got involved in some shit in that issue. But it turns out John Jameson is infected, and so they restrain him with webs and all that stuff, and they get to Norman Osborn's cell, and then here comes Carnage walking down the hallway. And when he's passing these prison cells, he's flicking bits and pieces of symbiote onto the inmates, and he's transforming them into, basically foot soldiers to help him take it down. And then shit breaks out. Shit just gets crazy. Big old brawl. So Carnage and all his new little minions now are jumping on Venom and Spider-Man, and they're going at it. There's blood, guts, ass everywhere. Just fighting. It's getting so intense, and like right now, like they're Eddie and Peter getting their asses whooped, and then Carnage like sends Peter right through the or Peter or Venom knocks him through the cell door of Norman Osborn, and Norman Osborn has basically almost transformed like physically after bonding with the Carnage symbiote, and where he pretty much looks almost identical to Cletus Cassidy because it just changed him up so much. And then they're like, we're not gonna let you kill him, and Carnage is like, my dude, I'm not here to kill him, I'm here to recruit him. And then boom, gives him a new Carnage symbiote, and then the issue ends. Freaking awesome. Absolute Carnage is just like, this is what like Marvel events need to be, captivating. It's just insane how good it was. And like we got the main storylines, a second issue coming out later this month, and then a whole bunch of tie-ins. And I'm gonna try to cover everything. Like I got my LCS, they got my slip that I want all the main storylines and the tie-ins, and I want to cover it all. It's because it's that good. I absolutely loved it. It's just a perfect 10 out of 10 story, and I can't wait to see the next issue and all the tie-ins and how that's gonna put everything together. But wow, it was so insane. It was just like everything. The pacing was so great. The art is freaking awesome. The writing, phenomenal. And this is like not just like your typical comic. This thing is pretty beefy, if you could see right there. Yeah, it is a beefy book. And I don't know if the rest of the main storyline issues are going to be this thick, but I hope so, because I was getting quality story in here. And I wish, I'm hoping that the rest of the series is going to be like a deluxe format, because I think this thing was like 60 pages long. It was really good, and I think it's needed. It's warranted for something like this, because it was so good. I was smiling the whole entire time I was reading it, just everything about this book was perfect. And Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, this Marvel's in safe hands with this. I mean, as long as the guys are there, I mean, wow, it was a really good story. So I should have said there were spoilers, but I'll edit that in. But if you guys are not reading Absolute Carnage by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, you're drastically missing out on stuff. I don't know if I should say that, but it's definitely, definitely recommend it. I absolutely love this series, this issue, and wow. But yeah, that's it for me. If you guys have read Absolute Carnage, I keep want to say Maximum. If you guys have read Absolute Carnage, let me know what you think in the comments below. And what else are you guys reading by Donny Cates? Because he's also doing Silver Surfer, and Null appeared in an issue of that as well. So it's all tying in together. Everything that Donny Cates has basically touched, he did on purpose, because now he's getting things pieced together. And I'm glad he did. But yeah, that's absolutely one of the greatest comics I read so far this year. And it's definitely going to be my favorite series, #1, again, by Donny Cates. It's absolutely phenomenal. Good shit, guys. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to leave the video there. And later this Wednesday, a couple more tie-ins are coming out. The one with Scream and Separation Anxiety tie-in. So I'm going to pick those up and see if I'll do reviews on those. Like I said, I'm going to try to cover all the issues in the series for Absolute Carnage. But yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or something like that. Peace out.